The Muffin Man.
The Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man.
Yes, I know the Muffin Man. Who lives on Drury Lane?
Well, she's married to the Muffin Man.
The Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man!
She's married to the Muffin Man.
Bro, Shrek is fucking funny.
I was just talking about this with my sister, and I was like, you remember when the fairy godmother in, I think it's the second one, where she goes to meet her parents, or she goes so Shrek could meet her parents, and the fairy godmother is singing that song afterwards where she's like, 1 minute, 1 second as I say this. So maybe somebody out there, you have a fairy godmother on your spiritual team who's trying to reach out to you. So you need to get somewhere quiet and you need to meditate and hear what she's trying to say. It could be an ancestor who's trying to reach out to you. It could also be a goddess from any of the pantheons. So it could be Aroba. It could be, let me see. It could be Norse. It could be Roman. So yeah, just keep an eye out for that. But I thought it was really funny in the movie when she's like, I'll make you fancy, I'll make you great, the kind of gal the prince would date, they'll write your name on the bathroom wall. And then the dresser's like, for a happy ever after, give Fiona a call. And I was like, they were saying she was going. They were saying she was gonna be out here. Dudes gonna be lining up like, hey, yeah, I'm trying to get some of that. Some of that ogre cake. I'm sorry. Drink some water, damn it. 22 minutes, or 20 minutes and 22 seconds as I say that. Yo. That's crazy. That's crazy. Diabolical work. Diabolical work, fam. Hello, my love. I hope that you all are doing great this evening, or whatever time you are watching this. Morning, afternoon, evening, night. I hope it's been good. I hope you've been good. How are you? Are you feeling loved? Are you feeling supported? If you're not, remember that by locking in with your spirit, locking in 3 minutes and 3 seconds, to me, the number 303 represents love. It represents love, like universal love, all the types of love. I've said this before, my current favorite movie of all time is The Matrix, primarily because of all of the spiritual meaning it has for me, but then also because I really like Lawrence Fishburne and Keanu Reeves' acting chops in that. I like how it was written. I personally thought it was very well done, so that's currently the reigning champion in film for me right now. The color scheme and the actor that played Agent Smith, fucking love him. And in that movie, the door that Keanu Reeves goes through and he's going to answer the phone, you know, because he's being called and Trinity's on the other line, that apartment number is 303. And 3 represents, you know, the 303 represents love. I love it. I love it so much. But yeah, what was I saying? Hi, how are you? I hope you guys are doing really good. I hope you're feeling all the good vibes this evening. I'm doing very well. I realized your girl is just 423 seconds as I say this. Your girl is impatient as fuck. Like, I really be like, when am I gonna say the things? I kind of feel like how Filch was in Harry Potter when he was like, my cat's been petrified. I want to see some punishment. But like for me, I'm like, I want to see some results. And so I was moved to watch more things that make me laugh, because that's one of the more things that make me laugh. I was moved to watch more things that make me laugh. Lock it in. I was moved to watch more things that make me laugh and that make me happy. And I think it's because when you're laughing and you're having a good time, that is what play is about. That's what you're doing when you're playing. And I know, based off of things that I've seen, that play is directly correlated with the things that I'm asking for in my life. So, 5 minutes and 23 seconds. I am going to suggest, if you're watching this video and you're not playing a lot, you need to play more. If you are playing a lot, and I don't mean, games that are just not great and they're super toxic. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like games that feed your inner child and make you feel really good and make you feel really giddy and really happy. I think it's so important to play games. Video games, board games, puzzles, all kinds of stuff. One of my favorite games that was introduced to me by my grandmother, actually. My grandmother is West Indian. She's from Grenada, and she used to have a Bible study at her house. And so, because I was raised Seventh-day Adventist, on Saturday or Sabbath, people would come over and they would be at her house, and then we would do the whole worship, and we would close out the Sabbath, and then, secular activities could begin, if you will. And so all of the people would get together, and I was allowed to play it at some point once I got old enough, and they would get together and they would play different board games. So, Sequence was one I think that they played that I never played with them. I didn't play it until I played with my sister this past Thanksgiving and fucking loved it. It was so great. I was like, whoa, I could just match stuff? Let's fucking go. It was amazing. But one of my favorite games to play is a game called Pit. P-I-T. And essentially what it is you have a game and you have a bunch of cards, and every card, you have a bull in the deck, and then you have a bear in the deck, and then you have different goods. So you'll have sugarcane, you'll have flour, you'll have I don't know, like any kind of good that like typically would be traded. So you could have oranges, and essentially the cards are shuffled and they're passed out. And so every player gets a certain number of cards, and your goal throughout the game is to get all of the same good, and then you win the game. And so the reason there's a bull is because if it's a bullish market, then that's a good thing. So the bull card actually can represent, it can be a replacement card. So I think it's 9 cards. You need 9 cards of the same good in order to win the game. And so if you have 8 cards and then you have the bull, you win. The bear card represents like a bearish market, meaning that, things are not good and you want to get rid of that card. You really want to get rid of that card, so you want other people to take it. So what you do is while you're playing, essentially everybody starts yelling out how many numbers they need. Or I think so. I don't remember exactly how the game is played. I'm sorry. But like, you're trading with other people. So it's kind of like a simulation of like the stock market. So like, say I have 4 cards, or I have 2 cards of the same suite and I need more, I would then just yell out like 3, 3, 3. And I think that's how it's played. I have to go back and look at the rules, but as a kid, I loved just yelling out numbers and people giving me stuff. And when I won, I felt like I was on top of the world. I was always playing with like 60 and 70-year-olds, so it was really fun. It was a really fun game. I honestly have gotten more into bud games. Bud? The fuck? Was I wanting to say bunda? I think that's like, is that British slang for like a woman's rump? Her rear, her derriere, her... But I've really gotten into board games the older I've gotten. My favorite board game of all time as a kid was Clue. I loved Clue. And I haven't played Clue in forever. I was very much so like, it was Colonel Mustard. Or it was... Who was it? Was it something Peacock? Mrs. Peacock in the library with the shoe. Like, I was very into it. So... the extent of the games that I play these days, though, are primarily the word search on my phone, and then I'm really into, like, the whole goods market matching game. Like, I feel like I'm a genius when I'm matching all the stuff and I'm doing it super fast. It's so fun. I love it. There's not really a point to this video. I think this is another one of those videos that I kind of consider a throwaway video because I'm just kind of talking and shooting the shit. I appreciate you all for being here. I saw I had more subscribers. Hello to those of you who have subscribed. I don't know which video you saw and you were like, that's it. I'm trying to get on board. But I appreciate it. 10 minutes and 10 seconds as I say that. I really appreciate it. I love having people here. I love having more people. And I also have seen a couple of replies. A couple of people have been replying to other people who comment. And to me, that's when I know that my comment section is flourishing. Behold, my field of beautiful flowers. Because when you all engage with each other in the comments, that makes me super happy. Like, I'm going to say this before I move on. If you have any resources that are free or cheap that you know of, no matter what it is, if it's something that you've researched and you know it and you've used it, please put it in the comments, because you never know who's going to watch a video and scroll down and they're looking at the comments as they're listening to the video, and it might be something that they need. So again, for those of you who are looking for more information, or you're looking to take classes online, I always recommend Coursera. No, I am not sponsored by anybody. This is just a free resource that I use. It was one of the resources that Full Sail University was like, oh yeah, like this is definitely something you should look at doing after I graduated. And the career, the career advising department, when I was trying to find jobs and stuff, they were like, use Coursera to get educations, because sometimes the certificate, or not education, use Coursera to get certificates. Now you can take classes for free. However, for some classes, there'll also be an option for you to get a certification from it. And so then you can pay, I think it's $50. I think every one I've seen has been $50. I could be wrong. But then you go in there and you take a class and you get a certification, and it's super nice. It's super dope. So regardless of the field that you're in, put it in here, because you never know. You never know who's reading, you never know who's watching, and who might possibly need that assistance. So I don't always do it. The first like maybe 5 to 10 videos that I did, I was very like, put your free resources in the comments. So I want to make sure that I say that when I think about it. Also, for those of you who are going to be moving anytime soon, check up OfferUp, check up Facebook Marketplace as 2 places where you can sell your things and where you can also buy new things if you're looking for them. I've had a lot of success with Facebook Marketplace. When I moved to Alabama from Boston, I moved to Huntsville, Alabama from Boston. I was able to sell a good chunk of stuff on Facebook Marketplace. OfferUp has been good recently because OfferUp has a lot of stuff for the move that I am anticipating. I still don't know how that's going to happen, but, Spirit is like, move as though it is happening. So start prepping, start mentally packing your shit. What are you getting rid of? Clear out the clutter. We're all about, things that no longer serve me, sending them to Goodwill, giving them to friends, essentially allowing those things to move forward. Something that I thought was really interesting was that I felt today to move forward mentally from the past. I realized today that I was talking a lot about past relationships that I had, and then I realized I talk about them a lot, and Spirit was on me. I saw posts about it. Somebody who's oracle reading, I was just scrolling through YouTube at random and just picked a person, not even based off the title, just based off the picture. And the information I got was, you need to not talk about the past, because every time you talk about it and you're bringing it up and you're focusing on it, what you're essentially, the data that you are putting out into the universe is that was it. That was incredibly important to you. And for me, the past is no longer important. I appreciate it for what it is. I appreciate all my past relationships. I appreciate all of the moments that I was in, But as far as moving forward, I want to focus on conversation and topics that are going to help me and that are going to better serve me during this time. So that's what I'm doing. So somebody here needs to separate themselves from their past. Your past is back there for a reason. You don't need to spend a whole lot of time there. It's time for you to move forward. It's time for you to do new things and to be in a different place. 14 minutes and 44 seconds as I say that. And so focusing on where you're at right now is going to serve you better, I think, potentially. I'm pretty sure. Focusing on the right now is going to serve you better than focusing on and rehashing and reliving past situations. Again, you want to free yourself up so where you're in a place where you're open to receive. Oh my gosh. Rumpelstiltskin, it is I. Alright, who did it? Who brought Shrek in? Who gets the deal of a lifetime? I said it in another video, Rumpelstiltskin was my favorite character. Like, my favorite bad guy in the Shrek movies, it was Rumpelstiltskin. Although the fairy godmother was a close second. She had body, and she had an amazing voice, and she was actually really funny and sassy. I liked her a lot. She's like, Harold, you're going to make me do something I really don't want to do. Welcome to Fried Fat Boys. How can I take your order? My diet is ruined. I hope you're happy. Yes, two chili wraps, no mayo. I'll have the medieval meal. One medieval meal. I swear, I love quoting movies, and sometimes I quote them wrong because the memory up here, not a steel trap. But I love quoting movies because in my mind, once the quote begins, it has to go up until a certain point. I'm all about it. I have a feeling this video is going to be short tonight. I don't think this is going to be an hour long. Because I really don't have a lot this evening to share. This is one of those I'm doing it because I've been doing it type videos. And I was actually really excited to do it because, like, it's good. It's the weekend. So at the time that I'm recording this, it is Friday night. And I'm very happy that it's Friday night. Because tomorrow, I'm going to be relaxing, I'm going to be chilling out, and I'm probably going to review my packing list. Okay, so for those of you who are moving, something that I've done successfully twice now in moves that might help you if you're going to be moving, or if you've been hoping to move and that's something that you're manifesting and bringing into your reality. Something that I will help you with in this moment, or give you like a little bit of advice on, is having an Excel sheet. I know. For those of you who can't stand the whole being organized thing, I get it. But this is just a tip for you. I created an Excel sheet. I packed up all of my boxes, and then I would number the boxes. And then in an Excel sheet, I would put the number of the box in one column, and then in the other column, I would put what was in that box. I ended up needing to do that. I was moved to do it. When I was living in Boston and I was moving back to Huntsville, Alabama, I was just moved to do it that way. And I'm really glad that I did, because when I got back, the situation that happened was that I needed to leave some of my stuff with my grandparents, and then the other stuff needed to go with me to where I was going to be living. And the person who was like helping me move the boxes was like, hey, yo, how are we going to know what to take and what to leave? And I was like, it's okay. I have an Excel sheet. I had it on my phone, but I'm a big clipboard person. I love clipboards. As a kid, one of my favorite things to do was to have a little clipboard and just walk around the house and just chick. I would make little check marks and I would make little notes. I loved it. I also loved doing the whole sitting down and pretending you're a therapist and like scribbling on paper and being like, and how does that make you feel? It's so funny how the games that we play when we're kids tend to follow us into adulthood as far as the stuff we like. So what was your favorite game as a kid? I would like to know that in the comments if you're so moved to put it there. What was your favorite game as a kid, and why was it your favorite game? And does it connect with work that you want to do now, or work that you do now that you enjoy? But yeah, I loved doing that. So we got to my grandmother's house and I was able to be like, okay, box 2, it stays here. Box 4 is coming with me. Box and I was able to do that. And it was a quick process. And the movers were like, hey, yo, that was impressive. I was like, I know. I'm just an organized girly, I just like to be organized or whatever. It's crazy because ordinarily, back in the day, I was very like focused on trying to make sure everything had a place and everything in its place was happy. I was very particular about cleaning really often, but then I realized after working through some of my childhood trauma that for me, it's more about just not having a dirty place. But like, I have clothes that I washed and folded 3 days ago, and they're currently sitting in my gaming chair. And it's actually pretty great because the current living situation I have, there is no room for me to have a dresser. So I've been living out of my suitcase for like the past year. So the problem with that though is that I usually have the suitcase here in the closet, actually where I'm sitting, and I move it to do the videos. And whenever I go to put my clothes away, I then have to roll the suitcase out, lay it down, open it up, and pull my clothes out, and then close it and put it back. So after I wash and fold my clothes, what I've been doing recently is I don't even put them away. I just have them in the chair so that when I need to get dressed, I'm like, and I'll just pull it out. 20 minutes and 20 seconds as I say that. I'll just pull it out so that I have it. Like, I don't put stuff away like that. It's gotta be easy access for me, honestly. Like, I do so many things in my life now that make things easier. So, like, I pre-lay out all of my stuff to take a shower. When it comes to dinner, I try to, like, pre-do stuff so that at dinner, I'm not actively having to cook. I can really just reheat things. I'm one of those people. Sometimes I get a wild hair up my ass and I really like cooking, especially if it's like I'm cooking something that's specific, like it makes me feel a certain way. So I love, cooking like home fries. Like I love cutting up like in the cubes. I love washing potatoes and then peeling the potatoes and then making like a potato base of some type. And I'll usually be in the kitchen cleaning or not cleaning, but like peeling the potatoes and singing. Like I'll play like sea shanties when I'm doing it sometimes. I'm like, yes, let's fucking go. Romanticize cooking. Make that shit fun. If you're a person who's like, oh, cooking's so boring, but I'm getting into a place where I want to cook and I don't want to just spend money on fast food all the time, make it fun. I like candles. Sometimes I'll light candles. I'll play like medieval like bar or tavern music, and I will walk around with like a towel, like a towel on my hip, and that way I can have it and then I'll flip it over my shoulder while I'm doing things, and I feel like an actual chef. Like I'd be in there chefing it up. So make it fun, make things playful, make things great. Because I actually do now believe that being in a state of play alongside your inner child is directly correlated with what you're wanting and where you're wanting to go in life. And I've done so many videos where it's been like, lock it in, let's go, let's focus, let's do this. And I've given you guys homework. But like right now, like if you're watching this video, 22 minutes and 22 seconds as I say this, it's time for you to play. It's time for you to play. It's time for you to have a good time. If you're currently already in a relationship, I'm gonna say it, play with your partner, you know, in the ways that you think, but also find cute stuff to do. Like, I'm actually really, really excited to be in a relationship. Like, because there are things and ideas that I have to do. So like, I'm a big fan of like planning dates and prepping them in a way where the other person can be surprised. Growing up, I was taught that it was the man that always pays for a date and he always needs to be the one planning. And as I got older, I just realized it's not always feasible, especially if you're dealing with, a guy who's tired because he's working all the time. It's like, yeah, he can plan some dates, but you can also plan some dates. 23 minutes and 23 seconds as I say that. Like, relationships, personally, in my opinion, my belief is that relationships are meant to be fun. It's meant to be you being full and complete in yourself and sharing the complete version of you with another person, and you guys growing and learning new things together and supporting each other and living your life together and just having a good fucking time. The couples who I admire the most are the couples who, like, they'll work together or they play together a lot. Like, they maintain being silly after they have kids. Like, they just don't take themselves so seriously. And that's the type of relationship that I want to be in. Yeah, there's gonna be times where, you gotta talk bills, you gotta talk finances, you have to talk, like, if you're in a situation where it's like you guys are cleaning and stuff, like you got to talk about what types of things each person's going to do so that no one person feels as though they are doing everything themselves. Yeah, you've got to do that stuff, but it's also important to play. Because without play and without joking and without laughter, I think all relationships start to get a little stale. And I think one of the ways that you can avoid doing that is to add play as a crucial and necessary part of your relationship. And of course, this, advice and theory and ideas are coming from a person who is currently single. So do with that what you will. But yeah, so I'm all about play. I definitely want to do, like, you know, fun shit. Like, I went on a date at one point and it was a virtual reality date. Loved that. And I was like, I'll be having that idea for myself. Thank you. I'm just gonna squirrel that away and use it for the future. Like, going anywhere together, going to a playground. This is actually a really fun idea that I actually did with my sister. We went on like a sister date, and at night we were going to get some food somewhere. We were going to get some like really nice Caribbean food, and we went to a lake that was nearby, and it was at night, and you know, there are lights and stuff, so we were being safe. But we went to this lake and we sat and we walked first. We walked by the lake, we enjoyed it, we were talking and laughing and joking, and then my sister was like, hey, so before we go and pick up the food, why don't we go to this playground over here? And I don't usually go to playgrounds at night, and I was like, ooh, this is a fun idea, let's fucking do it. And my sister's really good at romanticizing her life. Like, she's very, you know, let's do this fun thing, why not? Like, you only live once. Like, she's the type of person she's the friend who will call you at night and be like, hey, yo, what are you doing? You trying to drive to the next state over because there's a place that's open 24 hours that serves really good donuts after hours. Do you want to go? Like, it's a 4-hour drive there, 4-hour drive back. But I mean, come on, you only live once. Like, she's kind of that type of person. And I would say back in the day, when I was very, like, introverted and very, like, no, like, everything has to be done a particular way, and I would say I had to stick up my ass, but honestly, it was really just, you know, trying to be a realistic adult. I wouldn't do stuff like that. Like, the amount of times I had friends that were like, hey, yo, we're going to this late night showing of this movie. It's really bad, but it's at the Dollar Theater up the street. You know, do you want to go? And then we can go to, Steak and Shake afterwards and get some milkshakes and burgers. Yo, if you're looking for a fun date idea, go to a dollar movie or go to a movie and then hit up Steak and Shake and just be in there, just be talking and having a good time. I've loved it. I love doing stuff like that. And so we went to that playground and it was super fun. And then we went to go pick up the food and then we came back home and I was like, that was such an interesting outing. Like, you don't always have to be doing everything. But like, at this point in my life, I really enjoy playing. I think playing is such a fun thing to do. Like, my parents really enjoy going to the beach. And so we'll go to the beach and usually my parents will sit in the car, and usually I also will sit in the car if it's super cold, like it has been. But if it's not, my sister and I will always get out of the car and we will walk the beach, and we'll each pop in an earbud so that we can still talk to each other, and we listen to our music, and we go down the beach and we're dancing, or we're, you know, talking to the ocean, or we're picking up shells, you know, or we're drawing stuff in the sand. And we really are far more locked into, like, our inner children and just playing and having a good time. And I think everybody should do it. I think you owe it to yourself, especially if you're a person that works really hard and you don't get a lot of downtime. It's so important to make time to play. Something that I thought was really interesting for a while was that I would want to play a video game and I would be so motivated to play a video game, and then it would get right down to me hitting the power button on my computer and I would already be tired. And I'd be like, you know what? I don't want to do this. But then somebody told me that this is common. It's kind of like when you set yourself to do something fun, but when you're in an adult mode where you're used to working and busting your ass, you then think, well, I would rather spend this time resting. But the truth of the matter is you actually, in some cases, would not. You would actually prefer to play a game online, especially a game that you really like, or like on your computer or your console or whatever. And so I started pushing through it. Like, if I turned on my computer, I would immediately pull up Steam, I would pull up a video game that I wanted, and I would go get some water, and then I would sit down and I would start playing. And then usually I would be locked in. I'd be like, oh shit, I forgot about the lore. I'm a big lore person. I love lore in video games. Water time. Do you guys remember the Potter Puppet Pals? Did anybody else but me and, like, the people in my neighborhood see that? It was like a website many years ago. It was the Potter Puppet Pals, and it was a person who would have puppets, and they were characters from Harry Potter, and they would do, like, these little skits. So there was one where it was like all of the characters are saying their name, but it's in rhythm, and it ends up being like this whole song. Snape, Snape, Severus Snape, 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 Severus Snape Dumbledore. Like, and it just kept going and it just added. And I was listening as a kid, like as a youth, and I was like, oh my gosh, wait, no, why does this slap? Like, to me, any song that had a good beat, I was like, yo, it slaps. I would get so excited. But yeah, I used to love Part of Puppet Pals. There's so many internet things that I used to have access to as a kid, and now when I've gone to try to find them and they don't exist anymore. So like back on Cartoon Network's website, there used to be the Teen Titans game, and it was like a fighting game, and you'd use like the arrow keys, and like you'd have your special moves, and you could play as like Robin, Starfire. I think you could play as Jinx. You could play as a lot of different characters, and I loved that game. I loved the Dexter's Laboratory game where you were walking around, and it was kind of like an 8-bit game where you'd walk around and get the parts and stuff. That was really cool. Again, I was very like, I would go to the Barbie website, and then back in the day, it was the Barbie website, but then you'd have sections. So you'd have the Bratz section, and then you would have the My Scene section. The My Scene section was my section. I loved the game where you could like do their hair. I loved the clothing one where you could be a model. There was one where you had to take care of your pet, and you could have a cat or a dog or a horse. I was like, oh my god, it's amazing. It's like they know me. It's like they know what I want. I used to have a Tamagotchi as well. The Tamagotchis were amazing, and I was actually really good at taking care of mine until like I missed a couple of days because I think we had fun stuff we were doing at some point, and I left the Tamagotchi at home, and when I turned it back on, my pet had essentially shit itself and starved to death, and that scarred me for life. And I was like, I can't believe I've done this. Like, I was really upset because it was my first time like having a pet, and then I killed it because at that point my parents realized I was allergic to everything under the sun. So as much as my mom wanted to have cats, I was highly allergic to cats. I was also allergic to dogs. And then we had a betta fish at some point. We had 2 betta fish, and they were in 2 separate containers, but we made the mistake of putting the fish bowls right next to each other. So the betta fish killed themselves trying to get to each other, hitting them. I think the betta fish is the only pet that I've ever had that it's all beef all the time on sight. Like, if it saw another betta fish, that was it. Betta fish are so, like, they want to beef with everything. It's crazy. But yeah, hamsters didn't work because our hamsters got sick. I saw a post that made me laugh because it was like, I think we all had hamsters. We all had like this unique experience that wasn't unique where you had hamsters and they died in the craziest ways. And our hamsters, they all got sick at the same time. And they all, like, because one of them got sick and was contagious, and we didn't know that that could happen. Because I was a kid, so my parents didn't know, oh, hey, you should take your hamster into the vet to see if they need little hamster medication. And so they all died. They all died. It was very sad. But, yeah, it's funny. Because my mom, even now, is like, oh, I would love to have a cat, you know, but you're here and you have allergies. And I'm like, you gonna be shocked when you see pictures of me in my new space and I have a cat. And you're gonna be like, what? And I'm gonna be like, bro, I've told you for years. I will body the allergies. I will have allergy medication. I will have Flonase. I will constantly wash my hands. I'll do what I need to do. It's not that big of a deal. So yeah. I'm trying to think of other stuff I played. Ooh, the silver and blue toy dog that had like a remote controller on it from way back in the day. Loved those. I remember getting one and freaking out. I was like, oh my god, I got it for Christmas. I was like, it's amazing, it's so beautiful. And it barked. It was so cute. But yeah. Also the Barbie, oh my gosh, the Barbie dolls that it was like, I'm just like you, you're just like me. Cause I am a girl like you. Like, the dolls would sing, and I'd be in my room like, because again, it was a bop. Loved it. There were so many things that there's so many experiences I had as a child that, like, I know that I was like, break up with your past. And I'm reflecting on, like, my childhood. Because my childhood, there were a lot of good memories there. I think what my team meant when they were like, forget about your past, I think they're specifically talking about the relationships, because I can see where rehashing and re-talking about shit that I didn't like puts me in like a not so great headspace. And then I had a thought. And one of the thoughts that I had was, my new man, if he is in any way like a person who's like, I'm here for you and I'm about you, I'm serious about you, I don't think he really, or any man, wants to hear about your ex like that, if I'm being honest. So for those of you who are looking to date men, and you tend to talk a lot about your exes, I think you may need to kill that. That may need to stop being a thing. Like, I get it. You were hurt. And some of you were hurt in a very serious way, 35 minutes, 35 seconds as I say that. And so while I am not trying to make light of your experience, what I am saying is you are wanting to move forward. And if you're wanting to move forward and start a new relationship, something that's incredibly important is that you put all of those past relationships to bed. You put them to rest. You don't give them any attention. You don't give them any space in your mind. Delete pictures, delete messages, go no contact if you need to with that person, so that you can be in a place where when your new person comes along, they don't feel like they're competing with your past. Because if there's something I'm not gonna do, it's compete with, my partner's exes. If they're like, well, yeah, we still talk all the time, I'm gonna trust you. But the minute some fuck shit happens, and if I'm like, okay, so what's going on? And you're like, well, we've always had this connection, I'm out. This is the connection. This right here. And I know some people, they can still be friends with their exes, and I respect that. I've actually been a person who has said that for years, that I was like, oh yeah, I'm still friends, but the truth of the matter is I kind of can't be, because the stuff that we did when we were in a relationship makes that impossible to forget. I can't forget what I did, bro. I can't forget what we did. So, you are an ex for a reason. I am your ex for a reason. We're moving on to a new season, new characters, new plot. I release all of those things with love and with kindness, and I move on. Bro, I've been laughing. I think his name is, what is it? Is it Kevin Gates, the rapper? Is that his name? It's Kevin something. And he was in an interview, and they were asking him questions about like how he feels about people who've like robbed him, I think, and stuff like that. And he was like, I'm gonna tell people, God bless you, brother. Like when I'm separating from them, but not like in my mind. Boy, fuck you. Die today. And I cackled. I've been quoting that. Boy, fuck you. Die today. Because it really is true. It's like, no. Once you've shown me who you are, and once you have shown me that you do not care to be in my life like that, that's a wrap. That's a wrap. And for some of y'all, you about to step into your season of success. You finna step into your season of, you finna be out here. You finna have your music popping. You finna have your outfits popping. You finna have your content popping. You're gonna have other things popping. Let's go. You don't have time for past people to come back and try to act like they supported you the whole time and they were there. Don't do that. Move forward. That's in the past. You don't need that. You don't need that, boo. Moving into your new era. Moving into your successful era. We love this. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I have peeped, and I don't remember what the name of the app is, but there's apparently a new app that is replacing TikTok, and a bunch of people have already hopped over. So apparently, once TikTok is no longer operational, it's not gonna matter, because a bunch of people have headed over to this new app. I think it's a Chinese app, if I'm not mistaken, and my dad downloaded it already, and my sister downloaded it already, and a bunch of people I know are like, yeah, nah, I refuse. I refuse to not have the type of content that I've had before. And I think it's really crazy, because it's like my sister was showing me, and most of the Americans who have moved on to this app have like the Chinese subtitles below. Like, it's an option where you can put the subtitles on your video and they are translated in Chinese. And it's crazy because there's a lot of positive feedback. Like, a lot of people who were using this app originally were like, wait, where are all these foreigners coming from? And people were like, yo, we're the TikTok refugees. And they're like, welcome, come on in, we've got room, let's go. The only thing we ask is for y'all to be respectful because we have kids on this app. We don't want anything crazy. So I told my sister, I was like, yo, somebody who speaks for the American people needs to do a PSA and be like, hey, yo, don't embarrass me on this app. We are guests on this app that originated in another culture. Don't get on here being crazy. Don't do anything that's going to embarrass us as a people and have them wanting to kick us off the app because we need this. We need this. So it's been really interesting to watch. So I don't know if that's the move. I may get that app. It depends. I don't know. I haven't been moved to do anything else other than these TikTok videos. Other than these YouTube videos. I haven't been moved to do anything more on like my Instagram or Snapchat or anything like that. I really am I feel like I'm in like I feel like things are happening behind the scenes and I'm going to be let into that information as time goes. But it's interesting because I'm noticing that there are little things that I'm moved to do. And when I do them, it's like, cool, you trusted the process. And part of me feels like that's where a lot of you are right now, where it's like you're not seeing the big changes that you're hoping to see. But the thing is that there is the law of progression. And essentially what this law is when you're asking for things and you're manifesting things, depending upon what that is for you, the law of progression really allows you to appreciate the build up to that thing so that you can enjoy it more when you get it. So for example, if you're wanting a new house or you're wanting a house, you're wanting your dream home, for some people, it's not going to be that home exists and that you move into it. For some people, it's going to be that you saved up the money and you got the home like discounted somewhere, like you got it at an auction, like, or you bought the house or the house was passed down through a family member or something, and then you renovate that house and then it becomes your dream house. It might not be that you buy it fresh off the market that way. And I feel like for a lot of the things that we're manifesting, it's like that, where it's like some of the stuff that we're wanting, it's not going to happen in the way that we think it is. So it's not, you're just going to have money downloaded into your account and then you're going to go buy it. In some cases, there are going to be ways that happens. So like for me, the way my current bank account is set up is that all of my abundance is in escrow. And I don't like phrases that have to do with being broke. I also don't like phrases that have to do with being like, I have no money, because I feel like since words are powerful, I do not want to speak that type of negativity onto my life. So I've really looked up ways that I can say things differently. 42 minutes and 23 seconds as I say this. So what I say is my money's in escrow, which means my abundance is there. It's just not hit my account yet. And that's true. It hasn't hit my account, but it's there. And it feels so much better than saying I'm broke and I got no money. So because my abundance is in escrow, I am currently, my phone plan that I'm using, I'm doing it in 3-month increments. And so I had some money and I was able to pay for phone service. I was without phone service for like 2 months because my phone went off, because somebody who I was close to was paying my phone bill for me, and then they got to the point where they were redoing their finances and everything. So they were very sweet about it, and they were like, yep, moving forward, you're going to be on your own, essentially. And I was like, cool, great, just graduated, still don't have a job. So I had a little bit of money that I got from graduation, and I'm pretty good at saving. So when I have money, I use it very sparingly. And I try to invest it into things that will get me like a little bit of money back when I can. And so I had 3 months of this phone usage where I could call people, text people, all that good stuff. Because the phone is actually still usable. Like, the cool thing about cell phones, most cell phones nowadays, is that you can still use them if you're on Wi-Fi. So when I was, at Starbucks or at home or like anywhere else that had Wi-Fi and I had access to it, I could still use my phone. I use WhatsApp. I'm big on WhatsApp because I have a lot of family members that are not in this country. They're not in the US of A. I have a lot of family that's in the islands, Trinidad and Tobago, Grenada. I have family in Europe. I have family in Germany. I have family in Canada.
yeah, so I have family all over the world, so WhatsApp is usually just easier to use. So if you're a person who enjoys having contact with people on a, kind of consistent basis, and maybe you have a pen pal, or maybe a person who you're going to start dating doesn't live in the same country as you, ooh, interesting. WhatsApp is a great alternative to just texting. And so I was using, WhatsApp, and I was using the internet, but I didn't have any phone service. 44 minutes and 44 seconds as I say that. So somebody out there is struggling with not having phone service. I got you. So I'm going to go ahead and share. I am currently using Mint Mobile. I thoroughly enjoy it. I thoroughly enjoy Mint Mobile. The kind of onboarding thing for Mint is that you pay $15 a month, so you only pay like $45 or so. I think with taxes and everything it comes out to like $52, and that's what I did for the first 3 months. I'm not sponsored, again, I'm just telling you guys what I use in case you're interested and you're looking for like a decent review that you can kind of trust. But I've been using it and I love it. And I don't actually use a lot of data. So for me, I had that plan and I did the 15 gigabytes a month. And I don't use that much because I'm always on Wi-Fi. And when I'm not on Wi-Fi, I don't tend to use a lot of data, which is interesting because I'm always on YouTube, I'm always on Instagram, and I'm always watching videos. So it's weird that I don't use that much data. But anyways, I was able to pay it for 3 months, and then I got a notification like a couple of weeks ago on my phone saying, hey, like your Mint Mobile plan is about to end. You need to pay it. I had the money to pay it weeks ago, and I was like, okay, cool. So I am going to put this money aside into my savings account, and I'm going to have that so that when the bill comes up, I can pay for that. And Spirit said, don't do that. And I was like, why? Why don't do that? And Spirit said, because you're not going to need to pay the bill. I was like, what are you talking about? What's happening? And they're like, yeah, you're going to use that money for other stuff. There are other things that you need. Toiletries. You need toiletries for yourself. There's some other stuff that you need to take care of. Use the money for that. So 2 weeks before my phone went off, I checked the account and they were like, yo, your phone plan's going to end in 2 weeks. Like, are you ready? And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm not ready. I like having a phone. I like being able to call and text people while I'm on the road and driving. The other thing is that it's hard. Well, it's not hard, but it's a bit more inconvenient to drive without my phone because that's where my GPS is. And I tend to have to go and pick up things for my parents at locations I'm not familiar with. So the GPS, when you don't have internet on Google Maps, is ass booty cheeks. It's the worst. So I was like, no, I'm not ready for it to go away. But my Spirit said, don't pay for it. Don't touch it. So 3 days before my phone service went off, my Spirit said, okay, so now you can look at how much you owe. I went in and I looked at how much I would need to owe for the next plan that I was going to use. And it was, I believe, $75 because it goes up. So the 15 every month, I think if you do like the full year, then it locks in at that price. But I only did it for 3 months because I didn't know if I was going to be able to afford it. I don't know who this story is for. But there was no money in there. There was no money in there. And by in there, I mean in my account, all of my abundance is in escrow, as I said. And when I looked, it said you're going to owe like $75. And I was like, well, that's $75. It's an escrow. So what do I do? And Spirit said, just wait until tomorrow. And I was like, okay, so tomorrow either my phone service is going to go off or it's going to go off because I didn't know. The day comes and I wake up and I check my phone and the $79 was paid in full. And I was like, what do you mean? And then I looked for the following 3 months after that, and I'm only going to have to pay $45 after this 3 months is over. And I was like, how is that possible? They said, it's been paid. It's been taken care of. I cried. I was so emotional because I was like, this is crazy. I have never been in a situation where I've had a bill that's just been paid. I've heard this shit happen to other people. It's never happened to me before. And I sat on that for days. And many, many days later, I was explaining this story to my dad. And I was like, yeah, I don't know what happened. And apparently, what happened in the background was, when he was considering moving to Mint, he didn't move. He ended up not moving. But when he was going to move to Mint, I had sent him a referral code. And I was like, oh yeah, you know, if you guys use it, you can use this referral code. If you don't use it, it's whatever. I was moved to send it to him and move on. I didn't talk to him about it. I didn't know anything. He was moved to pay for 3 months of Mint Mobile through 49 minutes and 49 seconds as I say this. He was moved to pay for 3 extra months on top of the 3. Or not on top of it, because I paid for the first 3. So he was moved to pay for another 3 months before it even got there. And he didn't know why. And he said, when I tell you, I didn't know why I was doing it. I was like, no, I need that money, because he had stuff at the time. You know, this was, you know, my dad is, you know, a person, he's in school. And because of the fact that he's in school, the job that he has is one that supports him being able to take his classes at night. And my dad was actually laid off. It was a while ago. It was like over a year ago that he was laid off from his company, along with all the other people who were laid off. And he, with all of his experience, with all of his years of experience, with all of his certifications, could not find a damn thing. 50 minutes and 50 seconds. So if you are in this, or you have been in this, where you have been applying, and you have not been getting anything, I, again, would implore you to sit down and to really talk to God, Spirit, Allah, the universe. Really meditate and ask, what do I need to do? What do I need to do right now? And you will be surprised at the fact that you will get answers. It might be slow at first, especially if you've never done this before. If you're always used to just moving, and you don't really think about it, it's going to be hard at first. But ask it. I love how I said this video wasn't going to be long. But anyway, so my dad told me that, and he said I was moved to pay for it, and then I forgot about it completely. He said he ended up getting a paycheck that would cover everything. It was a bit more than he was expecting, and he was able to pay for the stuff he needed to pay for, and he completely forgot about it. And that was 5 or so months ago. And I was shook. And what that taught me essentially was, there is always stuff working in the background for you. What is required of me is my trust and my belief that things are going to not only work out, but they're going to shock me. My job is to be in the mental headspace where I am ready and receptive for nudges. When I talk about nudges, I'm talking about a feeling that you just get when you're doing something. I think we've all had this, where you've been about to do something, or you've just been chilling, and then you're moved to do something. You're like, I should go for a walk. And then you get up and you go for a walk. And it's a feeling, it's a nudge. Like, a lot of people have reported like situations where they were moved to do or to not do something, and it completely changed the course of their life. Excuse me, the way I've heard it referred to is universal nudges, or nudges from spirit. And all of the nudges that I've been getting, I always feel like this, like, spirit is going, so you do trust us. So you do trust us. You are ready to receive. I feel more ready than I've ever felt before when it comes to anything that I've wanted. I feel so ready. I feel so locked in. And I'm definitely going to share things with you all as I can, as things are happening. But that is what that situation taught me. It was like, really lock it into being grateful, to laughing, you know, to feeling good, because that's really what it's about. You want to vibrate, ringing in both ears. You want to vibrate at the same frequency of the things that you want, of that a stream of abundance. That stream of abundance is it's a light, it's a loose, it's a giddy, it's a sparkly and magical stream of abundance. And if you're a person who is angry all the time, or you're nervous and stressed all the time, you are stepping 53 minutes and 53 seconds as I say this, you are stepping farther from that abundance. You're getting in your own way, essentially. So, I don't know who that's for, but that happened, and I got emotional, and so then it boosted my confidence. I don't know how this new living situation is going to happen for me and my sister. We chose an apartment complex to live in. We checked it was interesting because I was actually somewhere and my spirit said, go into that building and get a housing guide. And I was like, huh? And it was like, go get an apartment guide. And I was like, at the time I was like, all my finances are in escrow. Fuck you mean? And it was like, go in and get it. So I went in, I got it, and I was like, cool. I got home, and I was like, okay, I should open this up and look through it. Spirit said, don't. And I was like, okay. So I put it in my bag, didn't touch it for 2 months. And then somebody called me and said, hey, I was moved to call you and tell you, 54 minutes and 54 seconds as I say this, the person said, I was called to tell you to pick an apartment complex. And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, no, yeah, like I was just moved to call you and tell you you need to pick an apartment complex. I was like, okay. So I went to the housing guide. I thought it was going to take me forever. I went through the housing guide and there was one that stuck out of like 20 or 25 apartment complexes that are in like the area that my sister and I want to be in. And one stuck out. And I was like, okay, cool. And then when I told my sister about it, because she was like, listen, I trust your judgment. So she was like, you pick, and then I can look at it, afterwards and tell you if this is where I want to be. And so I picked it, and I showed it to her, and she said, that's really interesting because that's actually the apartment complex I've been wanting to live in for a while. And I was like, huh? And she was like, yeah, I haven't said anything about it, but that's the complex that I want to live in. And that's crazy that you picked it without knowing. Again, in this guide, there were 20 to 25 different apartment complexes, and at least 10 of them were in the area we wanted to be, and that was the one that she had talked about, and we'd never talked about it. And so I was like, okay, so I picked it, I tore the page out of the housing guide, and I pinned it, and it's on the wall right behind my desktop, so when I wake up, when I sit up in the morning, it's right there, I can see it, and it has like the map of the layout, and then it has all of the information on the side. And I've been looking at that every day. And I wasn't moved to do anything else about it. And then I had asked for some information from the complex. I had gone to like the automatic chat bot and I was like, oh, I would like to know these things because they're a list of questions I always have when it comes to living in apartments. And they're tried and true questions. And I had asked other apartment complexes for information. Heard nothing back. Heard nothing. No emails, no text messages, no phone calls. This particular apartment complex, the woman at the front desk called me every day for 5 days like, hey, let's set up an appointment. Let's get you in for a tour. And I was like, how am I going to do this? Because they're always going to ask you, what is your source of income? They're always going to ask you that because they're looking for first month rent. They're looking for last month rent. They're looking for a deposit. They're looking for money. And I was like, mine, again, what do we say? It's fucking in escrow. So what am I going to do with that? So I text messaged her and she was like, yeah, I've been calling you, trying to reach out. And I waited and Spirit gave me exactly what to say. And I was like, okay. So I sent her a text message, told her exactly what I was going to tell her. And she said, okay, sounds good. Reach out to me when you are ready. So I have a contact at the complex who works there. I have her name, I have her information, her number. She sent me everything so that as soon as I was ready to move in, I could call her and talk to her and we could get things going over the phone and I wouldn't even have to come in. 57 minutes and 57 seconds as I say this. So everything is lined up. I just don't know financially how this is going to happen. But I don't look a gift horse in the mouth. I am at a point where I am very much so hands-off, and I am open to nudges. So whatever I am nudged to do, when it comes to that, I'm finna do. Because here's the thing. Let me have some water. And you might be feeling this too. When it comes to the things that you want, how long have you gone without? How long have you been doing the other shit that didn't work? For me, it was a while. And I feel like I'm closer than I have ever been. So when doubts enter my head, I curb stomp the shit out of them. 58 minutes and 58 seconds as I say this. Whenever
I hear anybody's mouth. That's why I keep my shit close to my chest, because I don't want people's opinions. I don't want their advice unless I'm moved to ask for it, because everybody has ideas and opinions that you didn't ask for. A lot of people will give them to you. You have an idea and it's fresh and it's like a little egg, and people will come and they'll be handling it all hard, telling you what you need to do. That's why they say gangsters, true gangsters, move in silence. Move in silence. Now I'm sharing with you all the things that are happening because I'm moved to. So in some capacity, this is important for somebody watching this at this point, 59 minutes of a video, almost an hour. But I will be damned. I thought about it. Spirit gave me a visual not too long ago, and the visual was, you are in like a lobby area and you're kind of looking around and you're like, man, you know, I really want my shit, blah, 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 blah. You're kind of passing and there's a door that you walk by. You're not moved to open that door yet, but you walk by it. On the other side of that door is everything that you have been attracting, everything that you've been manifesting. It's everything that you want. And all of that shit goes away if you believe other people's ideas as far as what you should be doing. Excuse me. If you're doubting yourself, it goes away. If you're locking it in with toxic people, it's gonna go away. And I said to myself, Spirit, I'll be damned if I let anybody get in the way of the shit that I want. I've wanted this for too long. I've wanted it for too long. I am dedicated. I, for real, am like gone. When it comes to the desire, when he was like, I'm gonna find my dad, and I'm gonna do anything that it takes to get there. So many main characters in anime are very much so, I will do whatever it takes to get what I want, and that is an attitude that we should all have when it comes to, ooh, that was 10101. As I was saying this, we should all have an attitude of, when it comes to spirit, how bad do you fucking want it? How long have you been wanting it? Because when you want something bad, you're not gonna let small insignificant shit get in the way. Especially if you've been fiending for it, fam. You've been fiending. You're not going to let people get in the way of that. That's not me. So anytime I hear anybody like, are you sure you don't want to do this? Nope, because I'm not moved to. You only do things when you're moved? Yes. I've been doing it since October. And what's weird is, even though big things haven't happened, the amount of peace I feel, even in moments where there is doubt, even in the moments where I am tired, where I am struggling, there is still a level of peace there that I have never felt before. I have always been prone to anxiety, to panic attacks. I've always been prone to stressing and being way too far in the future. That's been my experience for a good chunk of my life. And as of October, I was like, I don't want that shit anymore. I don't want that to be my experience. I want to do something else. So that's what I'm doing. The question, how bad do you want change? How bad do you want it? Are you hungry for it? I'm starving. Starving for change. And really at this point, it's not even starving because I already know it's happened. The knowing feeling is weird. To know that something is the case but to not see physical evidence of it is crazy. I do, in some cases, feel crazy. And my sister has reported the same thing. And, you know, my best friend, who is also locked into her spiritual journey, feels the exact same thing. It's like, I know what I know. I know it as though I know the sun is going to be in my face tomorrow morning. I know it as I know, you know, that I am in this body. I know it, and I feel it in my gut. So that's where I'm at. That's where we're at. That's what's happening. 3 minutes and 3 seconds. I just saw it. Love, 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 love. I feel like there's much love for all of us here. And I believe that. That boy is gay. And I really believe that. I used to say that all the time. I say that all the time. Quotes from like TikTok and from Vine, they would become stems. And I would just say them over again. Like there's one where this lady, she has a parrot or a parakeet. And it goes, thank you, baby. Oh, what doing? Crazy. Crazy. Almost 32 years old. And I'm here stimming off some shit I saw online. It's crazy. It's a little cringe, but the truth of the matter is life is cringe. Living is cringe. Existing is embarrassing. Like, we do that. And people be like, oh my god, that's so cringe. Bitch, you're cringe. Go find something to do. But yeah, so I think that's all I have for tonight. I am actually very excited to go in here and maybe watch the rest of the video gameplay that I was watching. Or I might listen to some music or something. But I love you guys. Thank you for being here with me. Again, to the new subscribers who are here, if you're watching this video at this point, you guys have amazing attention spans. I'm starting to see people who are, their attention span is changing. It used to be that you couldn't hold on to people for more than like 15 seconds, but I've had friends who were like, no, I watched your video all the way through and I loved it. And I'm like, you did? Now the cool thing is that for these videos, a lot of people will just let them play and then they'll be doing other stuff. And I think that's really cool. That's what I do with a lot of videos, especially like the tarot card readings that are like an hour and a half long. I will set those to play and I'll be doing other stuff I need to do. And then if I hear something that like strikes me, I'll be like, wait, whoa. And then I'll rewind it and then I'll listen to it again. But yeah, man, life is beautiful. Life's amazing. Cheers for the freaking weekend. I'll drink to that. Yeah. But yeah, guys, as always, love on yourself. Make sure you're drinking your water. Be kind to people. However, if people are fucking around and you have the time to help them find out, do what you need to do, fam. Do what you need to do. If any of you ride motorcycles, please be careful on the streets. A lot of people don't pay attention. They don't check blind spots before they start merging, and they're crazy. I myself, again, for those of you who are new here, I don't ride a motorcycle, but that is a goal. I have the opportunity to take some free classes at some point, but until I can buy the proper protective gear, I'm not taking the class because I need the gear. I need the boots, the helmet, the gloves, all that good stuff so that I can take the class and make sure that I'm safe and do everything I need to do. But if you ride a motorcycle, please be safe, especially for those of you who like to ride at night and you like to relax, you like to just kind of listen to music lowly as you're riding. Please be safe out there. You are loved and you are cared for. And I know you want to go fast, especially those who are on the rockets, you know, the sports bikes, and y'all just be, y'all be going. Please be safe, my love. Ooh, my elbow is popping. Please be safe. Yes. So yeah, I love you guys, and I will holler at you, I believe, tomorrow night. Love you, bye.